career that will be remembered for his incredible goal-scoring ability, which relied on power and surprising agility. His arrogant nature, which allowed him to reel in spectators and wind up opponents. His accolades, which include multiple titles across all of Europe's top leagues and reaching 500 career goals. Yet, throughout this illustrious career, there is one accomplishment that Zlatan Ibrahimovic failed to attain year after year: the Champions League. Scoring in 4 different decades for the most accomplished teams in Europe, you'd think that he would have a clear-cut chance of winning the coveted trophy. However, at 40 years old, the one star he has missing from his collection seems to have evaded him without a finals appearance to his name. Showcasing his ability in 16 different seasons of the competition, Ibra has amassed 124 appearances, scoring 48 times in the Champions League, which sees him sit in the 10th position in the all-time goal scorers list. Playing for 6 previous winners of the tournament, and some of the wealthiest and most popular teams in Europe. What happened? How does someone of Ibra's generational talent levels and longevity end his career in Europe with nothing to show of it? And who was to blame during his prime years? Now, the club success Ibra has recorded is well documented. From his 8 successive league titles across 4 different teams, his acrobatic goals for club and country, and his ability to win the league no matter which country he found himself playing in. His performances were phenomenal, but his record in the Champions League requires a video of its own. The Swedish striker's history in the Champions League begins in the year 2002. The early noughties demonstrated a different layout of the current competition's format, with 2 group stage phases in place before a final 8-team knockout. Ajax qualified for the tournament as Dutch champions under new manager Ronald Koeman, who changed the fortunes of the young Swede, as he was not a regular feature under manager Ko Adriaans, following his near £8 million transfer from his hometown club in Malmo. On his debut in the competition, Zlatan scored 2 first-half goals against French champions Lyon, as Ajax kick-started the campaign on a strong foot. Ibra would go on to score once more in the first group stage, as Ajax finished as runners-up on head-to-head over Lyon. In the second group stage, Ajax would go unbeaten in 6 games. However, 5 of these would be draws. Nevertheless, they would secure their path into the quarterfinals, coming across a legendary AC Milan side. Ibra finished the tournament on 5 goals, as he stamped his name on the European stage as a 20-year-old. The following season saw Zlatan and Europe introduced to the new and more familiar modern format of the Champions League. However, by December 9th, Ajax were found finishing last in their table, as they were far from impressive and lost to Club Brugge in a win-or-go-home game. Ibrahimovic did manage to score in one of their 2 wins from 6 games, a 1-0 win at home to Celta Vigo, but that was all the Swede could write home about in this season's Champions League. It would also be his last for the Dutch Giants. €16 million is what Juventus splashed on the striker, and the Swede repaid the side from Turin with a historic personal goal-scoring record in the competition. Ibrahimovic made 10 appearances for Juve, scoring 0 goals. He didn't find the back of the net once. You must be thinking that he was sharing the pitch with the great attackers of that Juve team, which is why he didn't get any goals. However, the likes of David Trezeguet and Del Piero did not share minutes with Ibra. Zlatan started 9 of his 10 appearances, averaging 83 minutes per game, all without a goal, as Fabio Capello's team went down a defensive route in their quarter-final exit to eventual winners Liverpool. 3 group stage goals in 2005 helped Juve climb above Bayern Munich to finish first in Group A. However, at the hands of another great forward and yet another English team in yet another quarter-final, Ibra and the old lady were led to failure, despite having some of the greatest players of all time on their team. Vieira, Cannavaro, Buffon and Nedved, amongst others, were not able to fight past a menacing, goal-driven former player in Thierry Henry. Perhaps they would have done much better without the looming uncertainty of their season due to the Calciopoli scandal, which stripped them of 2 Serie A titles, relegating the club to Serie B. With their punishment in place, Juve lost many of their big-name players, 2 of which stayed in the country, swapping for Inter Milan. A €24.8 million fee was spent by the blue side of Milan on a 24-year-old Zlatan, who had already moved around quite frequently in his career, but always found himself competing at the highest level of European football. However, he once again failed to deliver on the grandest stage, drawing a blank on this European season after 7 appearances in the competition. Inter as a whole only scored 7 goals after 8 games and a round of 16 exit. Was the problem deriving from Ibrahimovic, or was he not being utilised efficiently around his specific and unique skill set? At the second attempt in 07 with Inter, there was a greater level of personal success for the Swede. Despite the opening matchday loss against Fenerbahce, the reigning Italian champs swiftly replied 2 weeks later at the San Siro as an Ibrahimovic double defeated PSV. Like the situation Ibra found himself in at Juventus, the youthful but experienced striker had to perform consistently to keep some iconic strikers out of the team. Hernan Crespo, an injury-prone Adriano, and a 16-year-old talent named Mario Balotelli Ibra did just this as he scored another double against CSKA Moscow before wrapping up the group and his scoring against Fenerbahce in the return leg. But winning their group meant nothing, as they came up against a Liverpool team that denied the Italian giants to score in either their home or away legs, seeing Ibra walk away once more with nothing to show for. Despite 07 finishing in the round of 16, Ibra did manage to take his Champions League goal tally into double figures with 14. Nothing too spectacular for such a highly touted player. His European slump would continue in the 08-09 season. His only goal of the tournament would come in the 88th minute of the final group stage game, in a disappointing qualification for the knockout stages as Inter finished second behind Panathinaikos. Inter, this year being led by Mourinho, would still see no improvement in the knockouts and would once again roll back the years, making it now a third English side to knock out Ibra, and as they did in the year prior, they would bow out without scoring in either leg. Despite this, Ibrahimovic and Inter were still doing the job in Serie A, as they won 3 successive titles in Italy, with Ibrahimovic being their top goal scorer in the league in each of those title-winning seasons. But he would be lured out of Italy for the first time in 5 years, in a blockbuster move. Ibra was transferred to the best footballing team this generation has ever seen. The transfer ended up costing the Catalan giants €69.5 million, while Cameroonian striker Samuel Eto'o was sent the other way as part of the trade. Ibra was unveiled at the Camp Nou with high hopes. The team had just completed a historic treble, and by the end of the calendar year in 2009, the club had played in and won each of the 6 trophies they competed for. Now adding a prolific goalscorer, they looked to repeat those fortunes. Fittingly, Barcelona and Inter were drawn into the same group in the first round, with a goalless draw and a 2-0 Barca win allowing Ibra to get the better of his former employers to finish their group. A goal in their shock loss at home to Rubin Kazan was all Ibra could muster in the group stage. However, there was finally a breakthrough for the Swede in the knockout round. A goal in the first leg against Stuttgart provided Ibra with his first ever goal in the knockout stages of the Champions League after 8 seasons. He would follow this up with a brace in the first leg of the quarterfinals versus Arsenal, but he was outshone by the greatest football player on earth, as Messi scored 4 in the following leg against the North London side, which teed up Barcelona and Ibrahimovic for an exciting semi-final. Inter Milan had secured their place in the semi-final with resilient performances against Chelsea and CSKA Moscow, and Ibra was hoping that his former suitors would not get in the way of his European dream final. It was the free-scoring, jaw-dropping Barcelona team of the late noughties up against the stern, rigid defence of Mourinho's Inter Milan. The start of the rivalry of Mourinho and Pep, and the possible end of the curse of Ibra and the Champions League. But it was anything but what the Swede had hoped for. It was Inter who did the goal scoring in the first leg, putting 3 past Barca in the San Siro. Ibra was taken off in the 62nd minute after Inter's third goal, as Pep attempted to not concede any more goals before the final whistle. Complete damage limitation, not what the football giants were expecting to take home for the second leg. An infamous game of football followed in the Camp Nou. A physical and determined Mourinho team came to Barcelona with clear intentions: disrupt the elite tiki-taka and defend with their lives. It was a certainty that Barcelona would come out with all guns blazing in an attempt to turn around the 2-goal deficit, but Inter's blueprint had been amplified very early on, as Thiago Motta, another former Barcelona player, was controversially sent off in the 28th minute. Mourinho and his men then led Inter to one of the best defensive displays in recent history. They halted the game, blocked every shot, and tackled every man that approached their box. It wasn't until the 84th minute where Barca found a breakthrough, but it was too little too late. The magnitude of the performance and the win was highlighted in Mourinho's iconic post-match celebration. Once again, Ibra had been substituted in the 63rd minute. It was clear that he was not the man for Barca, even when they needed to look for a goal. As the team he left not even a year ago went on to win the trophy he desired most, his relationship with his newest employers soured. Quotes and stories surrounded Ibrahimovic as his one season at the Catalan club came to an end. His return to Italy saw him join the red side of Milan this time round, a team which boasted 7 previous European successes and 2 within the last decade, but this was not the Milan side of old. Still boasting a strong team domestically, the aging stars of these European successes had either retired or passed their prime. 9 goals in 16 matches stretched across 2 European campaigns with the Rossoneri. Ibra failed to break past the quarterfinals once more in Europe. A highlight for the Swede being his goal in the group stage against Barcelona, but Barcelona once again had the last laugh as they later matched up in the quarterfinals and brushed the Italians aside once more. Ibrahimovic, now aged 31, sought after a new challenge, and a new challenge he found alongside a whole lot of money. Good drink. 1 year following the historic takeover of PSG, Ibrahimovic was a marquee signing for the team. His €20 million transfer brought his accumulated transfer value to €180 million, and he stated that he is here to win and nothing else. As is well documented, PSG's search for their most coveted trophy still goes on to this day as they try to buy their way to the top, but with their current managerial setup, they won't get far. 2013-14 saw Ibrahimovic's best personal record in the Champions League. Scoring 10 times, he was the top scorer that season, besides some freak that scored 17 goals. But anyway, Ibra dominated for PSG, but the Swedish curse struck once more as Ibra fell once again to an English team in the quarterfinals. His goals in the Champions League for PSG made him the first player in history to score for 6 different clubs in the competition, and he easily could have made that 7 teams with his next move. However, only making 1 appearance in the Champions League for Manchester United, this was his last appearance in the competition before he ended his career in the US with LA Galaxy. Or so we thought. Ibra came back for one more bite at the cherry with Milan this year, but lackluster performances from the Italian side only allowed them to get 1 win from 6 and finish bottom of the group of death in the group stage. So is that it for the big Swede? 16 seasons in the competition, 48 goals, 10th all time in the scoring charts, and all he has to show for it is a semi-final appearance on a team that he wasn't even the pivotal point of. Missing out on winning squads in 3 back-to-back years, but he may have 1 more season with a promising Milan team behind him. As he panics over retirement thoughts, this might be the end of the Lion in football. Click on this video to find out about other iconic footballers that have missed out on silverware. And hey, consider buying me a coffee.